Hello and welcome to Talk A Latte, where we brew up hot conversations and serve bold insight. I'm your host, Reinas, and today we're diving deep with a guest whose name speaks volumes. Misconduct, known for their fierce stage presence, boundary-pushing artistry, and unapologetic voice, Misconduct has shaken up the drag and queer performance scene with a flair that is uniquely their own. Beyond the bold looks and the sharp wit, there is a layered story, and today we are peeling back those layers. We'll be exploring what drives their creativity, their experiences in the queer community, and the challenges of staying authentic in a world that loves to define and confine. This conversation promises to be fearless, vulnerable, and of course, filled with a bit of mischief. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's stir some things up. So welcome, Misconduct. We're going to ask, you built this fearless persona, Misconduct, but every drag artist journey starts somewhere. Who was Misconduct before the wig and the lashes, and how was your concept built?
Jesus, that's such a good question. I honestly never thought I was gonna do drag. Misconduct comes from a lot of the MySpace scene kid that I was in high school. The very like dark gothic young adult when I was in my 20s. Like it all comes from my alternativeness. So it's Misconduct is she, they, he, like it a whole bunch of different things.
Drag, speaking of which, is a personal form of liberation. What do you feel like Misconduct has freed you from?
I think honestly she's given me like creative expression. Just I'm not the type of person to like, oh, when you're angry, go work out, go and do all this kind of stuff. It like I put a lot of my emotion into my drag, or I tell stories of my life through drag. Like I remember the first summer that I was really performing drag. Actually, the second summer, excuse me, because I my first performance was like August 21st or something, 2021. But the second summer that I like really started, I was doing performances based on like traumatic experiences, like oh my god, what was that song I did? Demi Lovato and Cheryl Lloyd, Really Don't Care. And I had like a t-shirt of all the shitty things that I used to say about me. I just tore it off and was performing for the community and all that kind of stuff. So that was a fun time.
What role has queerness played in shaping your identity both in and out of drag?
Honestly, I think my queerness just allows me to be completely myself, to dress how I want, to, color my hair, get tattooed, get pierced, to be, like, unapologetically me, where what's it called? Like, people get me at, like, face value. Like, I don't really hide things, or I don't, like, put on so much of a front. Like, this is me elevated, I guess, would be the best way to describe it.
What are key moments of resistance or adversity that have shaped your desire to push boundaries with your art?
Ooh. I have no idea. I'm not sure how to answer that one. Like what do you mean by that?
So like, what are some of like the experiences that you've had in, your life that have really allowed you to want to contribute this to your art and push those boundaries for yourself to create that release and that relatability in your brand?
Life of a queer kid, I was bullied heavily. Having ADHD wasn't exactly something that helped me out there, because like, blurting random shit out that came to mind, or like trying experimental fashion and things like that, things that I thought looked cool. So being ostracized by, like the kids in my class, but also like I'm gonna say my parents as well, like, no, you shouldn't look like that, or like, how this comes off and things like that. So Misconduct is very much that. It wasn't a phase mom. No, I love my mom. But more like it wasn't a phase dad. But that where I've had like queer youth come up to me and say like, you are representation to us, and like, you know, I would love to look like you, and every time I do like an all age event, I am very presentable. Like, I wear skirts definitely longer than this one. No, I wear like full body suits. Yeah, no, like it's fun to perform for youth sometimes. Like I'm a very 19 plus performer, like, but the times where I do, it's because I get that. There's a video that my drag brother actually recorded, and like right at the beginning, like right before I get on the stage, all you can hear is this kid like, I've been waiting for this.
So would you say that like your upbringing was pretty conservative then?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because like my dad's very conservative, and then my mom's very like, I want to say liberal, but it kind of like, she's conservatively liberal. So like, I had support. There were still some like, you know, there's something missing, or, you know, I'm getting this instead of that when that is what I need, or something. But yeah.
And do you think that your artistry career has allowed you to do some healing from those relationships?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it definitely, there were things that I wasn't allowed to do that I'm like, no, I'm like living my life, Von Dutch, but that was bad. No, but like I get to like live my life. I get to do the things that I want to do. I get to wear what I want, or don't wear what I want, or do my makeup, or not do my makeup, or whatever the case.
Oh my god, I feel like you just brought me back to like this weird time vortex. Because like when I was a teenager, because mind you, I was like pretty much a senior in high school at that point, but it was like all MySpace, Von Dutch, Ed Hardy, Christian Artige, Warped Tour. Like those were just the things that we lived for. And I'm kind of like living in my own nostalgia right now. I'm just kind of like, wow.
For me, like my altness, I like to think of it like, oh no, it started with like Fall Out Boy and Marilyn Manson and Avril Lavigne. No, it started with visual kei music, like Moisi Moi, Malice Miser, like all these like late 90s, early 2000s Japanese. Because visual kei was never a set sound. It was rock of some kind, but it was glam rock, it was metal rock, it was like so theatrical because it was more about the look.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you could be like Rococo, it could be very like pastel lacy Lolita, like this, like just big. My first drag name was, I was thinking about doing it Phantasmagoria, because like Phantasmagoria is like a whole thing on its own. But I'm like, it doesn't roll off the tongue as easily, and my name ended up coming from like two people who are not a part of my life anymore. But no, like they said it, I'm like, okay, I like that. With Misconduct, it's like, it's a perfect name for alternative. It's just like, it's a title. It could be anything.
Literally. I love that. I love flexibility. Misconduct is known for being unapologetically bold. How do you balance shock value and deeper meaning in your performance?
Ooh. With shock value, it really depends sometimes. Like, sometimes I can really freak out the audience. Other times I'm like, you guys are not living for this. Why am I even fucking here? And sometimes, you know, as the Krampus, like, I love to get, like, right up in people's faces. But then, like, there are times where I'm like, oh, shit, you are not about this, so.
What has been the most emotionally charged performance that you've ever done?
Ooh.
And what did it teach you about yourself?
So, I had taken a short hiatus, I'm going to say, like, 3 or 4 months. Not even a full year after performing, because, like, I was doing quite a lot of performing, and there was just so much going on with different things that I'm like, Mama needs a break. And my last performance before doing that was like a very slow, sad song. It's Another Life by Motionless in White featuring Curly. So it's nice and soft and all this, and I do the Sasha Velour Rose Petals thing, like from The Wig, and I'm actually like crying as I'm doing this song, because I'm like, you know, you'll see me again, but I'm taking a long fucking break, like I need it, and yeah, it made me realize in that moment, like, this is something that I'm gonna miss because I care about it so much, but I also care about me, and I need the time to figure out what exactly I want to do, and actually that break helped me. Where do I want to take misconduct? Do I want to take her really professionally? What kind of looks do I want to do? How big of like a personality or character or performance do I want to go with it? Mm-hmm. So it was a pivotal moment.
But, that's awesome, though.
Yeah.
That's so good that you were able to connect with that. Do you feel that, was there something about like the performance or the song itself that really kind of like drove the reality of that home for you?
I think it was just like honestly the emotion behind the song. They were two artists who like I grew up listening to in high school, so it's like this is like a me song, mm-hmm. And there was an audience member that actually picked up on it afterward, was just very much like she was getting emotional. I'm like, oh mama, I'm already crying, you don't need to cry too. But no, she was like, I hope that one day essentially that I can come to terms with the darkness and that's inside of me. And it was definitely in a way where it wasn't, you know, like Christian, like, you know, the darkness, but like in a way where she knew that like there is something going on, like I'm clearly very emotional doing this, and that I have my reasons as to why. But yeah, today's the 30th, so 5 days ago was my 5 years in drag.
That's fucking awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you find that drag tends to be a mask that hides your true self or magnifies and amplifies your authenticity?
I think it definitely magnifies. It's kind of both. It definitely magnifies because it's like I won't wear something that doesn't make me comfortable. I won't do a song for the sake of doing a song. A few years ago when I had a manager, they were like, oh, you should totally do like Olivia Rodrigo, and I'm like, fuck no. Fuck no. Disrespectfully, I hate Olivia Rodrigo for many reasons. Like I'm like, you know what? Like she's the next like alternative pop star that like whatever. Like she has songs about like, you know, fuck guys, whatever. But I'm like, no, it's like asking me, oh, like, you know, you should do Billie Eilish. Why? Because she's alternative. I like Billie Eilish. I've performed her music before, but she's not somebody that I inherently go to.
Yeah.
I will always go to what I listen to now, what I listened to in high school. So, like, a lot of Charlie XCX to come. That Brat album was amazing, and I love the music from that. But, like, it's Motionless in White. It's all of my emo music. It's, Sex Metal Barbie by In This Moment is literally my theme song.
Who do you think is, like, the most overhyped alt artist?
Overhyped alt artist?
Yeah.
That's, because I want to say someone like Billie Eilish, but she's not really alt. It's like, she's pop, so.
Yeah.
Overrated. If it's not Ice Nine Kills, it's like Ronnie Radke.
What piece of advice do you wish you had heard when you were just starting out in drag?
I honestly think I heard everything that I needed to know. Like, hey, people suck. People are going to judge you based on your type of drag or the fact that you're doing drag. People are going to be catty, and, you know, like, if you don't like drama, this definitely isn't the area for you. But I've learned to adapt to that. But I think more, like, you can make money off this, but, like, don't lose yourself in that, because sometimes there are times where it's like, this is just, like, I'm so burnt out from my life, or even drag sometimes, and it becomes that, you know what, it's another paycheck, it's more money, all that, and I need to not think so much about that, but, no, that. I think we need, like, more opportunities to, like, because AOK is a great queer safe space. Like, every time I'm there, I always feel comfortable. It's more, there's a couple people that, like, are very standoffish or kind of make you feel in a way. But, I mean, unfortunately, we're going to get that everywhere. But, like, I've been to Pub on King. I've been to I was at Dive Bar on a non-drag night, and that was really uncomfortable. Or what's that place just up the street from it? Kentucky's? Or Kentucky Bourbon or something that's like just up the street from there, across from Phil's. All these straight bars, I have no idea. But I do not feel comfortable in any of them. But there needs to be more places, there needs to be more events for us to just be chaotic and queer and weird and all that.
You know what? I'm working on it, okay? Talking about community and culture, the drag and queer communities are full of love, but they can also be extremely toxic and competitive at times. And even further, divisive. How do you navigate the complexity of the queer circle?
I mean, like, I'm just gonna be honest and say, like, there have been times where I've fully given in to the drama, the hate, the bullshit, and, like, I'm not gonna say I'm this perfect fucking drag performer that, like, I don't get myself into trouble. I don't, like, it's happened. Is it gonna happen again? I really hope not, but, I've kind of learned to keep my mouth shut on a couple different things. It's more... Hey, I was just told this information. Oh, that's tea. Okay, I'm gonna just put that in the back of my mind to not worry about that. It's sort of the best way that you can go about all that. Like, you know, if there's somebody that you're not really all that liking to be around, kind of stay away from them as much as you can. But it's all you can really do. It's like, focus on yourself. People suck, and there are times where, you know, I see somebody that I'm like,
yeah.
I kind of have to be that way.
Many artists in the queer community grapple with imposter syndrome. How have you fought this, and how do you push through it?
Imposter syndrome is so real. Because there are times where, like, you feel fucking low, and you're like, what if I'm not the, like, you know, the greatest thing ever? Or, like, what if I'm not even, like, cool, and that people don't, like, you know, see me in a certain way. And then I remember things like, I was asked by Kaisa to perform at the Art Gallery of Ontario. I've performed with, like, Drag Race stars. I was in a fucking music video and things like that. And then I literally have to tell myself things like that where I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I am fucking awesome, and all this kind of stuff. And then on the other hand of, like, imposter syndrome, like, there was a time, more so in lockdown and the pandemic, because it's like, I put 100% into creating Misconduct, that I'm like, who's Lincoln out of drag? And I'm like, oh shit, like, I really lost myself for a moment where, like, for a long moment, where it's, you know, remember who you are out of drag and who you are in drag, that your drag persona is an extension of you, but you are not an extension of your drag persona. And if that's the case, it's one of those, like, why is that the case? Is there something that I need to look into or look within myself and that kind of stuff?
How do you hope Misconduct impacts people who come to your shows, and what's the legacy that you want to leave behind?
To create more drag performers. No, I've been approached by people who have said, like, I didn't know that you could do alternative or gothic or creature drag, like, and then, I don't want to say, oh, I have, like, unofficial drag kids, but, like, I know people who have been inspired by me and other alternative performers to do drag. Sorry, what was the question again?
It's like, what is the legacy you want to leave behind, and how do you want your character Misconduct to impact people when they come to your shows?
I want to be remembered, to be honest, like, in a non-egotistical kind of way. I vary that. Like, I always strive to be somebody with some kind of fame, whether it was, like, a hometown hero kind of thing, or, like, people knew me somewhere. I've had MySpace, I've had YouTube, I've had Tumblr, I've had Vine, I've had all these kind of things, and I'm like, can I just find like-minded people to like me and what I have to give out to the world? So yeah.
We're living in a time that drag is being politicized in new ways. How do you feel about the growing attacks on queer and drag art?
We all know it's not about the drag performers, it's about the way that, like, you know, oh, well, what if you know, it's trans people, right? Like, which I'm like, it's disgusting. So it's like, you know, it's not the drag queens that are reading to your kids or doing youth events that anyone should be like, oh no, they're dangerous. No, they're not. It's the people in the churches. It's the conservatives. It's all that shit.
Isn't it so funny, like how, and every time they're like, oh, this person rallies against this ban, and then like a week later it comes out that they're arrested for child pornography or essaying people. Yeah. It's just like crazy.
The call is always coming from inside the house.
If misconduct can time travel to any era in history, when and where would you go, and what kind of drag would you have served?
Oh my god. I want to say the 80s, with it still having its issues because, like, Studio 54 and, like, all these iconic, like, the time of, like, Andy Warhol and things like that. I would have, like, strived and thrived in a time like that, but because of the AIDS crisis, like, that's the one thing that I'm like, queer people were not, like, they were celebrated and represented, but they were also, like, in fear of everything. But, I would say then, but also, and during that, I would be like a complete drag thing. Like, it would be so Club Kid and so random. Like not Ornacia. What's her fucking name? Vivacious. Like that Spike outfit that she has. I want to do shit like I love that kind of stuff. So like, I had Bone Tooth make me a dress where it's all teeth that are like that.
I fucking love it. That's so good.
She's crazy. I'm not sure if I told you this, but I know I've said it to a couple people, but there was one time where Bone was wearing, like, she was a chair, and I didn't notice her because I thought she was an actual chair. So she starts talking, and I'm like, holy shit, how long were you there?
That's so funny. I'm like, oh you were just wearing that so everybody would sit on your face. Yeah. You dirty ass bitch. What is one song that never fails to make you want to lip sync the house boots down?
One that I actually perform or one that I haven't performed yet? Or both?
Both. Let's go with both.
One that I haven't done yet, every time Apple by Charlie XCX comes on, so I'm finally getting to do it on Saturday.
Yes.
I had Elixir make me one of her sweat tour outfits. Okay. And then I have like a human hair wig that's like her color that I just need to like all that, but like I love like the dance that comes with it, so I'm like, it's a song that makes me feel so hyped.
Yeah.
I went to Vancouver in November. I hated all of Vancouver. Every time we were in Vancouver, I hated that. Victoria and Whistler, perfect, but Vancouver was shit. So I'm like going through it, I'm screaming. We turn on the radio and it's Apple, and I'm like instantly like, oh, what was the problem?
Yeah.
But no, that one, and then one that I love to perform that never gets old. There's a bunch. There's like Enjoy by Bjork, because it gets me to really like be super crazy, but then also I love In This Moment's cover of Army of Me, because that's another really good one. But I think it's In This Moment's The In Between, because it's one that it makes me feel nostalgic for when I first started drag, because my drag mom was it was the second or third show that I'd ever seen her do, and the horns that I have on my Krampus are her horns that she wore like for that number. Yeah. So it is something that I'm like, oh, like this means so much to me, but it's also like, it's a song that like I love it because it is so that like as above so below, the in between, the like, you know, heaven or hell kind of thing. Like it's a good like fuck you song. It's a good celebration of being weird and alternative. But, yeah.
If Misconduct were to write a memoir, what would the title be and why?
Oh, I said this as a joke actually a few weeks ago. It was something like so Kaisa has a song called Dancing and Crying. So it would be dancing and crying and farting and shitting and pissing and there was something else, and then I said a memoir by Misconduct.
I love that.
I'm a Cancer, so I'm so emotional.
Finally, if you could sum up everything that you've learned in your career, in your life, what would you tell your younger queer self who's just starting to explore who they are?
Ooh, I mean, I gotta be cheesy for a second and say, like, it gets better, because it does. Being a hormonal child, preteen, teenager, and even a young adult, we all make shitty decisions, or we all have to, like, learn things and things like that, but, just sort of that, like, don't worry about what people say, because the things that you're being judged and ostracized for is, like, what you're going to be celebrated for down the line. I feel like we were told certain things sometimes, but it was always, like, backhanded, or it was like, be your authentic self. Not like that. There's cis white male gay spaces, and then there's like queer safe spaces, and I feel safer in a queer space than I ever will with like a gay male space.
Mm-hmm.
I find like there are definitely still like places that are like that today. Like I find AOK is a queer space. I find the Well is a gay space and things like that, where it's
Is there any parting words that you would like to tell our viewers before we end the interview?
Be sure to like and subscribe. No.
I will have all of their information in the description, so please do make sure that you actually follow and subscribe to them. Yeah. Any parting words?
There will definitely be more to come. More shows, more photo shoots, hopefully some more music videos, interviews, all that good stuff. So thanks for watching.
And that, my loves, brings us to the end of today's brew. A huge, heartfelt thank you to Misconduct and their raw honesty, their humor, their wisdom. Conversations like these remind us that there's power in embracing all of the messy, beautiful parts of who we are. And Misconduct is a shining example of that courage. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow Talk A Latte for more of these deep dives, bold conversations, and the occasional spicy spill. You can find Misconduct on their social media platforms, which will be linked down below in the description. And trust me, you will want to follow them for every twist and turn, and possibly death drop.